Welcome to Digital Asset News. My name is Rob, and welcome to the one and only live stream for the week. We used to do a lot of these, but we got away from them, so we're just going to do these once a week, just to for the sake of time. And the thing we have to go over today is just a couple of stories. One is about Coinbase and the amount of staking that's going on, and also about Super Bowl commercials or commercial. And then before we get into it, I just want to say, everybody, thanks for stopping by. I know we're going to go into the Super Bowl at, I think it's like the kickoff is around 6:30 Eastern time, but we'll just do a little quick review and then go from there. Also, what I want everybody to do right now is if you have questions, put them in the comments right now, because these stories won't take that long, maybe 6 to 8 minutes. And I want to get through everybody's questions. So start asking those questions now. So first things first. Welcome to the live stream. These are my favorite. We got away from them because it was just, time constraints, but I do like doing these things. It's just getting around for the time. So the first things first is it's like collateral damage. And of course, everybody's been talking about the SEC and Gary Gensler and cracking down on Kraken and whatever else. And it's all about staking. And it comes down to an article from Blockworks. I didn't know that staking and yield generation and interest had been such a large percentage of Coinbase's business. I can understand why they were, so up in arms when this came about. I mean, not, of course, the whole past and how it would affect the industry as a whole, but I mean, to see like 20% of it being interest generation, that's a huge chunk to lose. So Coinbase diversified revenue was staking. How much? Great question. Here it goes. Between the start of 2020 to the end of the third quarter of 2022, Coinbase raked in $9.46 billion from retail traders and an additional $508 million from institutions. So before we get into just the yield generation part and the interest part, do you realize what a huge amount that is? 10, and this is not a typo. I took a look at the shareholder revenue report that would come out every single quarter. And this is exactly what they said, that retail traders, that's us, we gave them the fees because they provide a service. I have no problem with that. $10 billion, institutions, $508 million. And it's because, of course, they buy these large chunks, and that's just how it goes. And then, of course, they have a custody service for them, but it's not that much. Where they make most of their money is retail trading, which is why it astounds me that places like Voyager, FTX, and all the rest of them, all they had to do was just stick to that model, and it wouldn't have screwed so many things up. Just stop being so greedy. You guys are making a boatload of money off us. Shouldn't that have been enough? No, you had to keep going. I digress. But the weight of Coinbase's trading fee revenue has been shrinking. Okay, we are in a bear market. Three business lines have made all the difference: interest, staking, and subscription fees. And here's where we take a look at the Coinbase revenues. And what's interesting here is I'm just going to do something real quick, which is this is how big the retail transaction for the revenue is. Watch when I take this away. It's like nothing at all. It's amazing to me how much they make off of us. I have no problems with that. Absolutely no problems with that. It just astounds me again about what happened with the other centralized exchanges and the greed that they had. Now, in the second quarter of 2022, Coinbase brought in more than $38.2 million via its interest activities, which was only about less than 5% of its revenue. But then right after that, the following quarter, that figure exploded to nearly $115 million, or almost 20% of all revenues, interest activities, including staking. So when they heard, and there was a rumor, and that's what Brian Armstrong put out, the rumor that the SEC was going to crack down, would you like to lose 20% of your revenue just because of some guy's idea that this isn't really what it should be? Now, there is some minute points, and I understand that. We talked about the things that I thought that Gary got right and the things he got massively wrong. I did 2 videos on that a couple of days ago. But to me, I can understand why there is this much issue. And then we can just see it here. Retail transactions, taking that away, that's retail transaction. Interest over here in Q3, it's quite a bit. And of course, as we go in the bear market, that could really hurt Coinbase moving forward if it happens. But here's a good point by Paul Grewal. He is the Coinbase chief legal officer, and he says this: Coinbase's staking program is not affected by today's news. Staking on Coinbase continues to be available, and staked assets continue to earn protocol rewards. So nothing's been done yet in this regard. What's clear from today's announcement is that Kraken was essentially offering a yield product. Coinbase's staking services are fundamentally different and are not securities. For example, our customers' rewards depend on the rewards paid by the protocol and commissions we disclose. Rules making clear these distinctions will provide real clarity to consumers, investors, and the industry. So there is that part, but how much is that going to stand up to the scrutiny of the SEC and just saying, no, we don't believe that's true, and now we're going to fine you, and regulation through enforcement? This is the thing that we have to fear moving forward. But maybe it'll just force, here's the thing, maybe this will just force the SEC to go, okay, fine. We think, and Gary's been very clear about this, right? Not that I'm agreeing with him, but he said, look, he goes, everything outside of Bitcoin and sometimes Ethereum, whatever day he talks about it, we believe that you guys are selling unregistered securities. So if he has said that in the past, why doesn't he just sue all the exchanges in America and going, you did this. So you guys are selling these unregistered securities. We're going to sue all of you and let's go to court. Let's go to court. Let's get this done. Because I got to tell you, his little piecemeals that he does, it keeps the larger funds away from institutional investing going, I don't really know. I don't know if that's his plan to do that, because if we just said, okay, fine, you got your chips, we got my chips, we're going to go all in. Let's have the courts decide it. Let's have Congress decide it. And let's just get this S out the way, because then we can have some real clarity and you can stop threatening us like the nerdy bully that you are and just get this out in the open. Correct me where I'm wrong. I just say we should just have a showdown now, because I'm tired of this piecemeal stuff and just the little nibbles that are being done. That maybe I'm wrong here. That's how I see things. And then also, this was an interesting point by Jesse Powell, former CEO of Kraken. He says, oh man, all I had to do was fill out a form on a website and tell people that staking rewards come from staking. Wish I had seen this video before paying a $30 million fine and agreeing to permanently shut down the service in the US. How dumb do I look? And he goes on a little thread, and it's pretty interesting. I'll link in the description. You can check it out. But it is true, because Gary comes out and says, oh, we just shut you guys down because you didn't have disclosures. That really wasn't what it was. It was all about securities and piecemeal and just kind of keeping everybody in fearful and in check so the big places can't come in. So let me just think about that in the comment section. And then also, just so you know, I thought Super Bowl ads there was going to be no representation for crypto, but I guess so. Super Bowl crypto ads are lacking, but NFTs have a spot. This was a statement from Mark Evans, Fox Sports executive of ad sales. He said, well, 2 crypto advertisers had commercials booked, and then those deals fell through after the crash of FTX. So we were going to see some, even though we're in a bear market, there was a couple of different, I guess, exchanges that were coming out. But they said after FTX, that kind of closed the loop. However, NFTs, a once little-known acronym that entered the mainstream in 2021, are set to step back up. Utah-based Web3 company Limit Break, I don't know who they are, said in October that it bought a Super Bowl ad for $6.5 million. Money well spent, sure. The company's spot will feature a QR code in reminiscence of Coinbase's ad last year, directing viewers to sign up for a chance to own a Daigaku, nailed it, Dragon NFT, the company said. The ad culminates a free mint whitelist opportunity launched last month that is extremely limited. I got to tell you, sounds good. Then maybe we can get people to actually get an NFTs again, and at least we have some representation. So I'm happy with that. Sounds good. And that's it for the news today. And before we go in the Q&A, again, get your questions ready. There's just a couple of things that if you're looking for some pretty good information, I think, and especially if you're a Cardano, Cosmos, Avalanche holder, there's a great video from Crypto CEO. I've had him on the show. Real smart guy, does really great work. And for some reason, I just don't get this. He's got a whopping 30,000 subscribers. That's honestly rookie numbers. He should have at least 100K with the kind of quality that he's putting out. So he did a fantastic video about, first of all, about how Polkadot, Avalanche, and Cosmos differ and how they all work. And he gives them the pros and cons, and it's really well balanced. He talks about here about the Cardano sidechain that's being created on Cosmos, and just well put out. There's a link in the description. I think it's like the first link that I put in here. So somewhere here, yeah, Crypto CEO and Cardano sidechains with Cosmos. So you can watch that video. It's like 13 minutes long, real good stuff. And then also, if you're looking for a little entertainment, we had a good series, me, Guy, and Ben from Coin Bureau and into the cryptoverse. And I want you to, there's this last part. The question was, if you had to host a dinner party and you had 5 people that you wanted to invite, living or dead, who would you invite to your dinner party? So I'm just going to give you my answer. And I'm not going to tell you why I said this. You can watch it later. But here's my answer to Guy, because Guy and Ben, they came out and said, I'm going to have like Hal Finney, which is a great choice, and Satoshi Nakamoto and a couple of different gurus in the space. But this was my answer. Take a listen.
You would ask Satoshi, wouldn't it? It's like, what do you think? Could you ever have imagined that it would get to this? So Rob, I'm dying to hear your picks on this. The picks that apparently no one's going to like.
No one's gonna like this, but here it is. So like, I knew you guys were gonna say some of those chaps, who you're gonna bring in, which would be fascinating. So you'd probably do a video about it, or we talk about it, like, oh, this is what they said. So I'm like, great, that's awesome. I'd love to hear about this. This is who I would want. Well, of course, we got 5 people. So I want, number 1, Alex Mashinsky. I want Do Kwon. I want the 2 guys from 3 Arrows Capital. I don't know, I forgot their names. And I want Sam Bankman-Fried. And if I could have a 6th person as like the waiter, I want Gary Gensler. So that's it. So I'm going to tell you, watch the video, and I'll explain why. It make a lot of sense. And I just thought it was an entertaining why, just to get through. But great video, link in the description. Also, I just wanted to give people a little bit of, I don't want to say hopium, but some good news, because I know we get all this bad stuff with the SEC, and we're like, crap, everything's going down. It's going to be awful, whatever else. Look, BNY Mellon says their investors are absolutely interested in digital assets. BNY Mellon is the oldest bank in the United States. Also, just so you know, they don't pick a bunch of losers. They've been in this space for, forever. They've got 44.3 trillion assets under custody. They're a bank, and they've got almost 2 trillion assets under management. So this is just one more example of a big institution getting into crypto, going, okay, we don't know what's going on over here, but we know this is going to be big. And I think we're in the right place at the right time. Also, I want to say thanks to everybody who showed up. We did the Amigos de los Animales. We go there every Sunday, and we walk the shelter dogs. But look at this. Look at these great views. You get to watch. If you're in Puerto Rico next Sunday, come hang out with us. And after this, we all went to breakfast. But it's just fun. We get to like walk the shelter dogs. They appreciate it. You get a little bit of action as far as like getting a little walking. And then if you're using your Sweatcoin app, well, you get paid for that too. So not a bad deal, win-win. And then also as a reminder that this Wednesday is our Coin Ledger live event. So if you got questions, I know people are getting like 1099s from Celsius and Voyager and they're, FTX, and they're having them requesting them to pay things. And there's some other questions for us taxes. I'm going to have the guys from Coin Ledger, which is me, David Kemmerer, and the tax lawyer. I forget his name, but we'll be answering all your questions live. That'll be around 1:15 Eastern time. I'll put it out on Twitter and I'll talk about it the next 2 days. So just remember, if you got tax questions, follow me on Twitter, and you can ask your questions right here, and we'll answer the guys. And of course, we'll do it live. And then lastly, clown news. So I know everybody gets like, for some reason, everybody like gets scared of this clown. So I guess people have issues with clowns. I don't know. So I'll just use this clown face. No one, gets frightened. But this is really the biggest clown news. It's not news. It's just a statement. It's stupid. So this is from Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. And it was the dumbest thing I've heard ever. Not ever. I've heard some pretty dumb things. But he says, you may lose your wife, you may lose your dog, your mother may hate you. None of those things matter. What matters is that you achieve success and become free. Then you can do whatever you like. I got to tell you, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not alone with people who have to agree with me. I got to tell you, if you think that success and money is going to be like the end all be all and freedom, let me tell you, once you get to a point where you don't really need money, there's a lot bigger things out there, and it's not just about making a ton of dough. And that's it. So look, that concludes today's news piece. So if you like today's video, thumb up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And now let's get into my favorite part, which is the Q&A. And then we'll get out of here and go watch a little football, and we'll go from there. Here, I'll do this one. That's better. I'll stay like this all day. I don't care. Comments. Let me go up. First of all, there's a lot of questions. Chivo, that's good. It's a pretty good day. Good morning. Yes. Okay, this was the question that I have been. So Rob, hope you're well. Will be great to hear your view on retail clawbacks without insiders info by Celsius. If you don't know, there's this thing called clawbacks, which is the dumbest thing of all time. Well, it's not dumb. It's a legal precedent. And what it says is that if you removed your crypto, I think the money too, if you remove that at any time within 90 days of when Celsius and Voyager and FTX apparently shut down, that you are subject to clawbacks. What do I think about that? Well, obviously, I think that's a pretty awful way to deal with investors. But unfortunately, it is the legal precedent, and it really comes down to the judge, and as they determine who is the person or who is the rightful owner. And Celsius, they very well could do that. Now, are they going to do that? That's the question. And I'm actually going to have. I was reached out by Plan C, who asked me to have one of the representations or the lawyers on. So I'm going to have this lady on, and she's going to talk to us about clawbacks and what it means for us. I'll keep everybody in the loop and go from there. Let's see. That's the wrong one. Okay. I'll turn it off. It's a little goofy. Okay. Hello, George. Good day. Buenos dias. Morning, Rob. Thanks, Dara. Dara looks great. Some people say it's going to be the next big thing, and it might be. I just don't have any exposure to it. So that's all I can tell you. And on this channel, I am super biased. I only talk about the things that I own. So if I start buying Hedera, you'll know it because I'll start talking about it. That's about it. Let's see. Not quite savage says the Coinbase freezer robbery. Well, there's two things really about that. First of all, the fees are a little bit higher, but guess what? They haven't collapsed. So everybody was talking about how great the FTX fees were. And you know what their fees really were? 100%, if you think about it. Sorry. So if they're going to charge me a little bit more and they stay up, great. It really doesn't matter to me. I transfer all my crypto off exchanges onto my NanoLedger X X. So I don't really care so much. But if you're worried about fees, there's two options. First of all, you can use, it used to be called Coinbase Pro, and now I think it's something else, Coinbase Advanced. And if you want to use that, the fees are less from what I understand. I don't use it personally because I just dollar cost average, and I'm kind of lazy, so I just let it go. Another thing is a Coinbase One. You pay like $20, and there's no fees up to $10,000 per month. That's what I use every single month. And that's it. So yeah, top of the morning. So that's a good question. Road trip buddies. So to answer your question, the question is, Rob, did you move to Puerto Rico to save on heavy taxes? It's one of the reasons, yeah. Second reason is I hate cold. And the third reason is, well, me and my wife wanted to get out and all our kids are gone. So what's the point? So we spend 6 months here. We can either spend 6 months here or like Florida or like Arizona. But we're like, well, we like it here and there's a nice tax benefit. So we chose this place and it's working out pretty well so far. So there's a couple different reasons. So before anybody moves here, just remember, if you got like kids and you're like, well, I got to move with the kids. And then, depends on your revenue and your income. There's a lot of factors to think about it. Don't just move here and go, okay, great, no taxes. Trust me. I've done a couple of videos on Puerto Rico so far. Watch those videos first. And I urge you, please do that before you make a potential huge mistake and move here. For some it's for you, and for some it's not. Right on. Let's see. If staking took off, Coinbase could have eased fees and taken liquidity from Binance. Plot twist. CZ made a few calls to a certain party and whispers in ears to stop staking. There's a lot of things that are going on. I find it interesting that Gary Gensler is always talking about, we believe that all these exchanges here in the United States are selling unregistered securities, and we believe it. And then they just, every so often, they really make a big move. And it's like to scare people, to scare people back into submission and going, see, we told you we can do these things. And they do it. That's why I'm like, let's go to court right now. let's go to court. Let's just get it all in the open, and then we'll see. And guess what? If the SEC does win, okay, well, then you know what that means. Yes, all the exchanges become selling securities. Robinhood does it every day in equities, stocks. So all you got to do is register. And then the different projects that'll say, okay, well, I guess now we're considered a security here. We'll pay some fines and we'll move forward, whatever. So let's just get it out of the way and get it done. So the institutions are like, oh, okay, now I can invest into this stuff and I know where we're at. And I'm not going to get a fine for offering unregistered securities to my customers, which would lead me to my next point. I was talking to Not Meme shout out today at the event for the shelter dogs. And she said, what I don't understand is that Fidelity in my account is offering me crypto products that I can buy right now in my retirement account, or I think it's in her investment account. And I can buy those right now, but they don't seem to be bothered that it could potentially be an unregistered security. And it's things outside of not just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some other cryptos. So I'm like, that is interesting. It's a ballsy move. And I just wonder how that's going to play into effect later on. So just think about that. Let's punch up like some damn, yeah, that's right. Punch up. Yeah, I don't know. George says, why is the SEC pursuing legal action against Coinbase? They got a real big thing for Coinbase for whatever reason. And I'm not for sure why either. So who knows? They share network fees, share the rewards with its users. I got to tell you, and my concern was this, and I talked about this before. It seemed like before, like in different exchanges, like they would say, okay, we're going to stake your crypto, but we're also going to rehypothecate it. And we're going to give you X amount of yield. And it seemed like you didn't really know where the yield was coming from. It was like, were you really staking? Because you said you were, but there's no proof, documentation. And are you rehypothecating? Are you commingling? Nobody really knew. And now here we are. So I just think like, okay, fine, let's just put on the open, get some disclosures like Jesse Powell was talking about, which he did make sense in that statement. So I don't know what's happening there, but I will ask you a basic question for everybody. Why the hell is anybody keeping their stuff on the exchanges? Like, even Gary Gensler came out and said, not your keys, not your crypto on MSNBC. I mean, if you can't get any more clear than that, I don't know what to tell you, man. So if you got it on exchanges and you think everything's going to be great, more power to you. I got 3 reasons to take it off exchanges: Celsius, Voyager, and FTX. But that's just me talking from experience. SEC is pure corruption. I am not your dad. That's very true. Cocaine says Celsius has confirmed they will claw back retail who withdrew their coins in the 90 days of BK. What's your view? If that happens, who would buy, sell crypto on U.S. Central Exchange? Exactly. So it's like, this is, man, I got to tell you, now I'm definitely going to have that later on. If this happens, it's a huge black eye for everything. But you know what? It would make, where there is a hole or where there is a problem, there is a solution somewhere. And I know that, not me, but people in the crypto field are smart enough to figure out a way around that, to transfer your crypto some way into, or your fiat into crypto, and then just use DEXs. That would be a big question. So if Celsius does claw it back, I will go out of my way. I'll make it a mission to make sure that everybody is reminded of what they did if they ever did a new company, or what's going to happen. Hell, I'll stick around for another year just for that. I'm a nice guy. Intel. Court would still be a huge risk, though, if it was all taken to court. If we lose, and good chance we would, since we're against the SEC. That's not true. Then we'd really be screwed, so I think I should only... Here's the thing, Corey, you have to understand. The SEC doesn't win all the time. Did you know that Mark Cuban beat the pants off them in a lawsuit? Go look it up. Not only was it a drubbing, it was a fast one. So the SEC accused Mark Cuban of insider trading. He's like, oh, really? Well, let's just go to court and see how that works out. And it worked out great for Mark Cuban. And the SEC goes away. They don't always lose. Or people don't always lose against the SEC. That's what I'm saying. So if we all got together I mean, let's be honest. The exchanges do have a little bit of money, a little bit of power and sway. I think we should do just fine. And let's not forget that just because we're against the SEC doesn't mean that we don't have friends in high places. The Lummises, the Ted Cruzes, the Tom Emmerers, the Hester Pierces. I mean, these people are not just like average Jane and Joes. I think we do just fine. I think we would win, actually. We'll see. SECG just finished what FTX is trying to do all year, destabilize crypto. It's a good point. A lot of people think that Sam Bankman-Fried was a stooge, a useful idiot, and they may be right. I would fight Rob from Dan. I'm a very boring guest. I'm actually very boring. Yes, George, the so-called, you know what's, Ben had a good point. The people that I wanted on my dinner party, which was Alex Mashinsky, I'd want him first, just to sit him down and ask him, why did he lie right to my face and everybody else's face on my show? That'd be the first thing. Then the rest of the people would come in. I don't really care. And then you had the two guys from Three Arrows Capital and Sam Bankman-Fried and then Do Kwon. And then the waiter would be Gary Gensler. So Ben had a good point. He goes, isn't that amazing? He goes, if you would have said that a year ago, besides Gary Gensler, people would be like, oh, those guys are really good, up and standing citizens of crypto. And people love them. I remember being at Guy's event. No, sorry. This was another private event that I attended. And there were people, I was up on stage with that Martini guy and a couple different people. And somebody was talking about, we need people who will stand up for Bitcoin and crypto. And we all said, yeah, we need more people like that. And then one guy stood up in the audience and goes, you guys are, he pretty much he started to yell and he said, but we already got that. And his name's Do Kwon. What do you guys don't know what you're talking about? And I'm like, I don't think that guy's really that good. And then like 3 months later, everything collapsed. So I don't think it was really that good for the crypto market in general. Nah, I would want to have dinner with the Illuminati, but that's just it. Anybody can be Illuminati. You never know. They'll be like, I'm the Illuminati. You have no idea. 200 years of jail. Yeah, exactly. Definitely, maybe. I like the first clown too. Road Trip Buddy says, dude, it's a motivation YouTube speech. Yeah, and someone said that also for the thing about like, it doesn't matter if you lose your mom or your dog, whatever else. It's just matter that you're successful. If that's a motivational speech, it's the worst one I've ever had. I've lost both. I mean, there was a time when me and my wife split, and my best friend just passed away. My dog of 14 years. I got to tell you, I'd give up everything I own to take that back. I mean, now me and my wife are back together after, this was a while ago. But I don't give a shit how much money you make. It doesn't make a difference in the world, or how successful you are. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter in the long run. That's how I see it. Teeny Tesla. Hello. Tika Ben Rensburg. That's a good question. Hey Rob, will the staking USA problem affect us that are staking with you? No, because I am just the face of DNews staking. I am just a cog in the wheel. The people that are not responsible, but we all have a certain amount in it. But our staking is out of Netherlands and Australia. So for us, it's Cardano staking. So we don't have anything centralized here in America. We used Kubernetes, and we just space it all out globally. So for us, it's not a big thing. But if you listen to what Gensler said about the staking prospect and how that all works, it's you have to understand, like, think about how Ethereum runs their staking, which I got to tell you is the worst. Not the worst, but it's not the greatest. We'll just say that. When I heard about the staking, I did a video on it and I was showing people how to do it. And halfway through, I just said, I'm not doing this. I'm just not going to lock up my Ethereum for that long. You can do it, but for me, I'm like, I don't get it. For me, it didn't make any sense. And then with Cardano, because like when you lock it up and you're moving your Ethereum, you're giving it essentially locking it up someplace else and you don't have access to it. But with Cardano, I mean, it never leaves your wallet ever. You have your private keys. You are in control of it. There are no lockup periods. There is no stake, or there's no slashing. There's no, I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that you may miss if your designated stake pool operator isn't doing their job. You may miss one epoch from not giving rewards, but you'll never have your rewards taken away. So for me, like personally, I think Cardano knocked it out of the park with staking. It is the cleanest, easiest way to do things and the most consistent. And then of course everybody will say, well, this, this other project is great. I don't really, I mean, I've staked Avalanche, I've staked Cosmos, I've staked Near, I've staked Solana. And so far the easiest and best way I've seen is with Cardano. And that's why we just stuck with that stake pool and that's it. Let's see. People who love money say that. Yeah, some people are so poor they only have money. That's what sucks. Coinbase card rewards be affected? I don't know. I think if Coinbase card rewards be affected, I think all credit cards would be affected in the future. Yeah, Joseph's got a great question. Why do crypto people hate Coinbase? I used to have my problems with Coinbase too. I would always talk about how I hated the fact that they would always go down in the most inopportune times, like during like big crashes so people couldn't sell, or when things go up, miraculously and like these blow off tops, it'd see like it would get so much action, it would just shut down. I'm like, why does one of the biggest crypto exchanges on the United States shut down? I mean, they should have this already figured out. And I was always giving them guff, but lately they've been doing pretty good. And I will say one thing about Brian Armstrong. I mean, he really believes in crypto and really wants to make things work from what I've seen. Maybe behind the scenes, he's plotting a huge takeover. I have no idea. But people just hate Coinbase because they hate Coinbase. And they always talk about the fees and the fees and the fees. Look, man, these days, I'm just happy that Coinbase has not become insolvent and collapsed. I got to tell you, it's just like the army. Just show up with the right uniform and get promoted. So in this situation, if Coinbase just keeps moving forward and doesn't collapse, win. I see them as onboarding many new crypto investors. Yeah, me and Lou are in the same boat. I got to agree with you. Coinbase will be good. It's Rob Troll. I'm not. Yeah, it's crazy, Ryan, right? I know Mr. Wonderful does have kids. That's what's crazy. He's got a wife. Maybe he hates his wife. I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know. Yeah. D. Tom says, I'm in New York, so I basically need Coinbase. Y'all can F off wishing to see his downfall. I don't wish his downfall. I want those guys to succeed as bad as anybody else does. This question. Curious as to why you and Ben ditched James. We didn't ditch James. The thing was, like, when my tribe gets together with Ben's tribe, we don't really have too many problems. Pretty much we're all aligned. But when my tribe and Ben's tribe and James's tribe get together, it was toxic. And when we did the DCA shows, it just wasn't a good mix over time. And that wasn't my plan. My plan was to alleviate your stress. You're under enough stress as it is. When you go to the shows, I just want you just to enjoy it and relax. And when you see things on live stream and it's really negative, you're like, well, this isn't what I wanted. So I said, me and James and Ben talked and we go, you know what? Maybe our tribes just don't align. And now James has got a new tribe and they seem to do pretty well. So that's great. And then me and Ben picked up Guy and we're doing pretty just fine. So that's it. How's Puerto Rico? Man, in Puerto Rico is awesome. I like how in Puerto Rico, like stop signs and stoplights are suggestions and not something that you actually have to do. That's fun. And but besides that, the weather's perfect and the people are great and the food is, but I mean, it's a great place to be. That's all I'll say. I do like it here. I'll probably keep living here for the rest of my life. Is the staking ban official or just a rumor? So the staking ban for Kraken, that's official. That's gone through. $30 million later, they're not offering staking. They will not be moving forward unless Gary Gensler comes out and says, here's the criteria. But as far as I know, that's it. Now with Coinbase and all the rest of them, seems like they can still do that. Binance US, sure. Red Cran. Keep up the good work. All your insights. Wish I could have found you in the last bull run. So I was talking to Meme about this morning at the dog walk. I think this is what I'm going to do. So I have a plan to sell my crypto. And people, if you're a diamond hands person, you can do that. But I did a video. And it was called Why and When I'm Selling 80% of My Crypto. And I linked it in the description of every one of my videos at the very top in the description. And I want you to watch that video, because once those criteria happen, I'm going to sell 80% of my crypto. And once that happens, I think I'm going to step away from this channel. It's a good idea to do that, to just make things final and then kind of move a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll say, once I sell, like this is just a thought I'm having. It's just to go, okay, look, everybody, I sold. This is it. You can do whatever you want to do. You can ride this out. But I'm going to make things final right here. And I'm going to step away until the bear market comes. And I'll probably just take a break for like 3 months, because there's a blow off top. And then who knows, 3 months, 6 months, who knows. Then I'll come back. But I want to make it like a final. So people are like, oh, Rob was serious. He really did these things. Maybe I should, really think about that, do my research and see if this is a good time to do those things, because it's always the same thing. It's always a 4-year cycle. And it seems like whenever we think like it's going to keep going up and up, it never does, obviously, right? So I want to give people something to think about instead of just sticking around going, everything's going good and it's great. I don't know. We'll see if that's a good idea or a dumb idea. I'll hear about this in the comments. That comment is in Florida. Gary just wants control. It's good, true. It's a great point. If you lose your wife and dog and your mother hates you and you're happy, no one should ever trust you. Well, maybe. Maybe your wife tried to kill you. And maybe your dog hates you. I don't know. I'm trying to play devil's advocate, but it's very tough. It's true. SEC is controlled by banks. And that's staking in Japan is great. Yeah. I probably. It's a good idea. T-shirt, not your dad. What? Is that true? From April 2023, India is basically going to fine and jail people who do transactions through peer-to-peer on foreign exchanges. So now the only option left is domestic exchanges that prevent crypto withdrawals. So you can't, that's interesting. Is that going to be a law? Did they already put that in? And if that's the case, as far as crypto withdrawals, nothing in cold storage? Interesting. Jail. Wow. Ryan says, are you DCing more into Bitcoin or ETH? Bitcoin. There's more of an upside potentially for Ethereum, but I'm trying to play it a little bit safer. Oh, didn't know that. Hey, Rob, when you talk about walking the shell dogs, don't forget to mention it's scientifically proven to boost endorphins. Yeah, and you can also lose weight and you feel better. What are your thoughts on Lido staking? I wouldn't do it. It's just me. I don't like having things locked up. I don't know. Never had an issue with ADA. Daedalus is the best way to stake. That's what I use, but people sometimes don't like because it takes so long to download. I get it. Mofongo or Tostones, neither. I don't like either of them, but everybody seems to love it here. But that's just me because I'm not from here. But everybody loves it here. Ben had no mods. Ben doesn't like to ban people. He's just like me. Like if you're I think a scam bot, then I'll ban you. But I don't. Even people who disagree with me, I don't ban them. And I've got plenty of those. Let's see. I think that's it, guys. Sell and sunset. Sell in May and go away. I'm going to put that to the test one of these days. That would have worked out pretty well, actually, for the last bull run. Okay. And that's a good way to say it. Goodbye, Tesla. Goodbye, TNT. And goodbye, everybody. So look, that's it for today. I got to do some things. Got to get out of here and get some things done. But enjoy the big game. Watch that Super Bowl commercial. Should be interesting. But that's it for today. If you like today's video, thumbs up before you leave. Please. It helps out a lot, apparently. Subscribe. You can subscribe, but it's not like YouTube's going to notify you all the time. But good luck. And that's it for today. So thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next one. Adios.